Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and really try to get right to the heart of the information.
That's the goal.
Today, we're plunging into a stack of accounts you share with us. We're zeroing in on unexplained aerial phenomena and, frankly, some pretty unsettling encounters with, well, something often lurking just outside the spotlight, the Men in Black.
Yeah, we've got two quite distinct narratives lined up. One is this really dramatic close-up military sighting from the early 70s near the Bermuda Triangle area.
Right.
And it comes with this startling account of, well, suppression.
And the other.
The other's more recent, a more subtle kind of experience involving discovering anomalies in photos taken in Texas. Very different vibe.
Okay, so our mission in this deep dive is to really explore these firsthand narratives, dig into the specific details, from the sources, and see what significant nuggets of insight we can maybe pull out from these incredibly mysterious events.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's start with that first source.
Yeah.
It's a really compelling account from Ron, who's a former member of the U.S. Coast Guard.
Okay.
He talks about his experience aboard the Coast Guard cutter Spencer. That's a WHEC-36, a pretty substantial ship, like 327 feet. This was somewhere around 1970, maybe 72.
And where were they? Not just near the coast, right?
No, way out. Ron places them on what was called Ocean Station Echo. These were specific spots way out at sea where cutters would patrol.
Right, for weather, search and rescue, navigation aid, that sort of thing.
Exactly. And Station Echo, he says, was a couple hundred miles off the North Carolina coast. So yeah, squarely in that Bermuda Triangle associated area. And he sets this scene. It's nighttime, and the seas were totally calm, like glass, he said, which is unusual out there.
Okay.
And then everything changes. An announcement comes over the ship's comms system, basically. There's a UFO.
Whoa. Not just one guy seeing something.
No, that's the thing. Ron states that over 100 men, out of about 140 on board, went up on deck to see it.
Over 100. That's significant. A huge majority of the crew. Trained observers, too.
It really is a powerful detail. And Ron's description, based just on what he saw from the deck, he said it was iridescent, kept changing colors, had very bright lights, and he specifically mentioned seeing what looked like portholes, described them as distinct dots on the object.
Portholes, okay. And what about how it moved? That's often key in these accounts.
Right. He described incredible maneuvers, said it showed up and did 90-degree things like instant sharp turns. Then it turned around, came back down.
Stuff that defies normal physics, basically. Especially back then.
Exactly. Things our own aircraft, certainly in the early 70s, just couldn't do.
Okay, so visual sighting, mass witnesses, weird maneuvers.
And then it goes further. Ron mentions his friend, a marine science technician, an MST.
Someone trained in observation documentation.
Right. Handling scientific gear, often including cameras. This friend had, for the time, state-of-the-art cameras, telephoto lenses, and he took a lot of pictures of this object.
Pictures. Okay, now we're talking potential evidence.
And here's where Ron's account gets, well, really extraordinary. He claims that when they looked at the developed pictures with the telephoto lens view, you could actually see beings looking down through those portholes.
Wait, what? Beings? He actually saw beings in the photos.
That's his claim. Looking down from the object, that detail just escalates the whole thing, doesn't it? From just an unknown object to something occupied.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And these photos, did they just disappear? Or
No, they were apparently processed quickly. Ron stated the film was developed right there on the ship. They had a dark room during the, 2 or 3 day trip back to port.
So people saw them?
Yeah.
Before they even got back?
Yes. Ron says multiple crew members, including himself, saw these developed pictures before they docked.
Okay, so let's recap this part. Mass sighting, military ship, weird object, photos taken, photos allegedly show beings, and multiple crew see these photos on board. That's quite a sequence of events before they even hit land.
It implies this shared experience, maybe even some internal confirmation among the crew. But then, yeah, things took a turn when they got back.
A very sharp turn, you said.
According to Ron, yes. The ship returns to its home port, Yankee Pier, Governor's Island, New York. Crew's probably thinking about shore leave.
Standard stuff.
But that's not what happened. As they're docking, Ron sees, quote, 6 seventh guys walking down the pier, and he immediately labels them Men in Black.
The classic MIB. Did he describe them?
Oh, yeah. Very specifically, black caps, dark black sunglasses, said they looked incredibly similar, almost alike, had a blank facial look,
Huh.
and he specifically noted no eyebrows.
No eyebrows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up a lot in these MIB stories. It's so strange.
It is. He also said their movements were robotic. They talked like a machine, not like normal people. He described them as professional, but also deathly scary.
Robotic, blank, no eyebrows.
Mm.
It adds that layer of high strangeness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Suggests something not quite human, maybe.
That's certainly the implication often drawn from those details. And these guys, they didn't hang around on the pier. They came right aboard the ship.
Which, as you said, is unusual for a military vessel.
Highly unusual, Ron pointed that out. You need authorization. It implied to him they had some serious official clout, even though they apparently never showed ID or identified themselves.
So they just walk on board? Then what?
Ship lockdown. Immediately. Crews told nobody leaves until they're interrogated or interviewed by these men. They had to go downstairs one by one.
And Ron's interrogation.
Chilling, based on his description. Standing there facing this guy, black hat, dark sunglasses, and he's just told flat out, you didn't see anything.
Just denied his own experience?
Completely. And they were forced to sign affidavits. Sworn statements saying they never saw anything unusual aboard the ship.
Wow. Force affidavits. But it didn't stop there, did it? There were threats.
Explicit threats, according to Ron. He was told if they went to the news media, quote, they would never be found again.
Never be found again. That's terrifying.
Absolutely. Ron was only 21. He said he was usually pretty cocky, but he knew they weren't kidding. He said he was terrified for most of his life because of it. Signed the paper just to get off the ship.
I can only imagine. And the photos.
Yeah.
The ones the MST took.
Confiscated.
Hmm.
The MIB took all of the marine science technicians' camera gear, the cameras, the lenses, and critically, all the pictures.
The evidence gone.
Just taken. No compensation, nothing mentioned. Direct removal of the physical proof, assuming the photos showed what Ron claimed.
And the ship's command. The captain.
Ron's impression was the captain went along with it, that the MIB's authority somehow superseded normal channels. And interestingly, Ron, being the radio man, actually sent a secure teletype message about the sighting itself to D.C., so it was officially reported up the chain, at least initially, before this intervention happened.
So it was logged somewhere, even if it was later suppressed on the ground level.
Seems that way.
And Ron's telling this now,
Yeah.
decades later.
Yeah, he's 64 now. Says he's sharing it because he's finally not terrified anymore. He mentioned trying to find old shipmates, but hasn't been able to connect with anyone from that time.
Man. So let's just pause on Ron's story. What are the big takeaways here?
Okay, so you have 1, a mass sighting by over 100 military personnel. 2, an object displaying impossible flight characteristics. 3, alleged photographic evidence of beings inside. 4, immediate forceful suppression by these unidentified, unusual men in black.
Yeah.
5, they used intimidation, life threats, forced false testimony, and confiscated the evidence. And 6, they operated with apparent high-level authority outside normal protocols.
It's an incredibly detailed, disturbing account. It really hits those core questions.
Yeah.
What did they see and why the intense effort to hide it?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's shift gears completely now. Let's look at the other account from Daniel in South Texas. This is a very different kind of story.
Totally different. Daniel lives near Houston, actually mentions being about 30 minutes from NASA. And his approach was, well, almost casual. He just started taking random photos of the night sky.
Okay, just pointing his camera up.
Pretty much. But the key thing is, he wasn't always seeing anything weird with his own eyes when he took the picture.
Ah, so not like Ron's direct, dramatic sighting.
Not at all. Daniel's discoveries came later. When he was reviewing his photos, zooming in, sometimes long after he took them, that's when he'd find these anomalies.
Anomalies, what kind of things?
Things that just didn't look like a bright star or a plane or, a cloud. Something distinctly other that only became apparent on close inspection of the photo.
That's fascinating in its own way. It suggests maybe things are up there that we just don't perceive easily.
That's the possibility it raises, yeah. Maybe they're too fast, too small, maybe operating outside our visible spectrum or camouflaged somehow. Things the eye misses in real time, but a camera sensor might capture.
Right. And you only find it if you actually look closely at the documentation later. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How much might be out there that we're just not equipped to notice in the moment?
Exactly. It's a different kind of hidden in plain sight. Maybe it's hiding in our own photo files, waiting to be zoomed in on.
So bringing these two accounts together, they're so different.
Completely different ends of the spectrum, really.
You have Ron's story, Dramatic mass sighting, military witnesses, a specific weird location, and then this overt, frankly terrifying MIB suppression.
Yeah.
Hardcore stuff.
Right. And then you have Daniel. Subtle, almost accidental discovery through tech by a civilian, no specific hotspot location mentioned, and apparently no intimidating follow-up at all.
But despite all those differences, the encounter type, the evidence type, the response,
Both stories ultimately point to the same thing. There are things in our skies that defy easy, everyday explanations.
yeah, and that Men in Black element in Ron's story.
Mm?
The robotic guys, the threats, taking the photos that allegedly showed beings. That really hammers home the theme of active suppression.
It forces you to ask, why? Why go to such extreme lengths, including threatening someone's life, over a UFO report? Unless there was something truly significant they needed to keep under wraps.
Something potentially world-changing, maybe.
Could be. And if you look at the bigger picture, the history of the subject, strange aerial objects are constantly reported. And alongside that, you consistently hear these stories, these whispers, or sometimes direct accounts, like Ron's, about efforts to suppress that information. It's a recurring pattern.
So we've taken this deep dive into two really distinct accounts from your sources. You've got the terrifying MIB encounter after the mass sighting near the Bermuda Triangle.
And the quiet discovery of hidden anomalies in sky photos from Texas.
And taken together, they really underscore this enduring mystery, don't they? What's actually up there? And why the persistent suggestions of efforts to keep us from knowing.
Especially keeping the most profound parts of it quiet.
So here's a final thought, something for you to mull over. Consider Ron's story. If information about phenomena, maybe even occupied phenomena, is being actively suppressed with threats and confiscation, and consider Daniel's story. If other phenomena are so subtle, they're basically hiding unless technology and careful review reveals them. What does that specific combination suggest? What does it imply about the true scope and nature of what might be happening?
Yeah, what are they hiding so forcefully on one hand, and how much else are we just missing on the other because we aren't looking closely enough or in the right way?
How much of the picture are we really not seeing, whether it's kept from us or just beyond our normal perception? Lots to think about.
Keep exploring, keep asking questions.